So, number 1 is going to be letter B. Okay. Now, that's great if you got it correct, but you have to show the work on this. Okay, you have to show the work. If you don't show the work, it's incorrect. Everybody understand?
Mm-hmm.
How many steps do you guys think I would need to see on this problem right here? Yeah. You would have to show me 2 steps. Now, you didn't have to necessarily write number 1 and number 2, but if you didn't do this, make sure you're writing this down because I want you guys to understand what I want you to do. And trust me when I say I'm doing the 2 steps simply because I'm trying to protect you from you. Okay, I know what mistakes students make, so that's why I'm making you do the 2 steps. What's the first step? Yep.
Change 1/5 to a fraction.
Yep. So am I going to leave it as a division problem?
Yes.
So like I said, if you didn't do this, you're going to want to do it with me. And then on this, we're going to go around the barn, which I feel you guys are pretty good at by this point. And we're doing 3/4 divided by 6/5. Now, what is step number 2? That is when we do the, Lexi?
Algorithm?
We do the algorithm. So that would be when we do division is just multiplication by the divisor's reciprocal. Head up. Okay, so does this dividend ever change?
No.
So you're just multiplying the dividend by the divisor's reciprocal. Okay, so divide becomes multiply. The reciprocal of 6/5 is 5/6. Now at this point, can I check for cross simplifying?
Yes.
Sure, 4 and 5, do they have any other factor other than 1?
No.
No, what about 3 and 6?
Yes.
They have a common factor of
3.
3. So I'm going to divide by 3 and divide by 3, and that's going to give me 2. And I'm going to get 5/8. So in order to get this point completely, for number 1 here, you had to have the 2 steps. So you needed to have that, and then obviously you needed to have the answer B. Everybody clear on that?
Yeah.
Okay, next one. The correct answer is going to be letter C, I believe, right?
Yep.
All right. How many steps here?
2.
2 steps once again. Remember, step number 1 is just going to be when I take the fractions and then put them into fraction form. Those are not in fraction form, are they?
No.
Those are in mixed number form. So I'm going to do that. Now I'm going to go around the barn. 4/3 divided by 23/6, right?
Yes.
Step 2 then is what's that going to be, Artie?
4/4 times 6/20.
It's going to be when I do the algorithm of division of fractions. So there we go. Now, can I look for common factors here?
Yeah.
Cross simplifying? 4 and 23, they going to have anything?
No.
No, because I know that 23 is prime. So we know that it can't have factor of 4 because it only has factor of 1 and 23. What about 3 and 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a 3 there. So I'm going to divide both numbers by 3. And I'm going to get 8/23. So once again, in order to get this point, you must have the work there and the work there. Guys, I see that some of you are like just kind of doing this around the barn here. And you're saying, okay, that's going to be 4/3, and then you're going straight from that to this step. That's wrong, and I am being picky, but I just know the mistakes that students make, and I'm trying to protect you from yourself. So just get in the habit every time. 2 steps. Everybody got it? Number 3. The correct answer is going to be letter A, 2.1. Okay. Shut the door. Thank you. All right. Now, what problem would I have you do on this? What math problem would you be doing? Yes.
3 times 7.
You're going to be doing 3 times 7, which is 21, right?
Yep.
But then we got to go up and we got to say, well, how many numbers to the right of the decimal did I have?
1.
1. It's really 0.3, so that means my decimal is going to move 1. 2.1. Okay? Must have that work there.
Is it okay if I just put the points in?
Guys, you can put the point in your problem if you want to. I just think it helps the students out if they take them out. Okay? What problem would I be doing? Well, I'll tell you number 4 is, it's letter C, first of all. Now, what problem would I have you do instead of 2.34 times 7.1? Andrew?
234 times 7.
Yeah, just take it out completely. So I'm doing 234 times 71. Okay, well, 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 2 is 2. Right? Pretty easy there, right? There goes that placeholder, and then I got to put 1 there. Okay? 7 times 4. Easier. 7 times 4 is going to be 28. Okay? 7 times 3 is 21, plus 2 is 23. Right?
Yeah.
7 times 2 is 14, plus 2 is 16. Now I'm ready to add 4. 3 plus 8 is 11. Carry your 1. That'd be 3, 5, 6. 6, 1. Now the answer is not 16,614, right? That's what 234 times 71 is. But now we got to put those decimals back in, right, everybody? So I know it's 7.1. I know it's 2.34. That's going to be 1, 2, 3 numbers to the right of the decimal. So I need to move my decimal how many places?
3.
3. So 1, 2, 3. It's going to be letter C, 16 and 614 thousandths. You must have that. Now, obviously you all know this. You had to have this work. I made that pretty clear, right?
Yeah.
Because this is a multiplication problem, or I mean a multiple choice problem, what is 2.34 really close to? Is it closer to the whole number 2 or the whole number 3?
2.
2. Is 7.1 closer to 7 or closer to 8?
7.
So what is 2 times 7?
14.
So doesn't that kind of eliminate these answers here? Now I can kind of see maybe this one, but do you guys see how I did that? Now that's not something we're going to rely on because we know that it's not always going to be multiple choice, right?
Yeah.
But at least this really lets me know, okay, well, if it's going to be, and since I rounded down on both of them, I know this is going to be greater than 14, right? So use 16 and 614 thousandths. So yes, you could use common sense when it's multiple choice, but if you didn't show the work, it's wrong ultimately, and your work has to match. Yes?
Whenever you did that, you could also just say that 9.44 is a decimal like in the second, but that one has to be 3.
You got it. Yep, absolutely. Yep. All right. Next question up here. This answer is going to be, I think B. Does that seem right? Yeah, it's going to be letter B here. So, what's the first thing that jumps out at you when you look at that problem right there? What's the first issue or the red flag that you see immediately? Yep.
The divisor.
The divisor is a decimal. What do we know it needs to be? Hello? It has to be a whole number, right, everybody? So it has to be a whole number. So remember, we can think of all division problems as fractions, right? So what am I going to change 0.4 to?
4.
We're going to change it to actually be a denominator or a divisor of 4, the whole number 4. What did I do to make 0.4 becomes 4? Yep.
Times 10.
Times 10, or I just moved it once, which means 1, 0, correct? Okay. All right. So what am I going to do to 0.89 then?
Times it by 10.
I'm going to do the same exact thing, and that's going to become 8.9. The biggest mistake that I see students making is they move this, and then they move this like this. Is that correct? I did two different things. I can't say 3/4, and then, okay, you know what? To the bottom, I'm going to multiply by 3 and make it 8. And to the top, I'm going to multiply and make it 9. Are those equal now? They're not equal. They must be multiplying or dividing by the same number to the top and the bottom. So, my problem here is going to be 8.9 divided by 4. By the way, you guys have been doing your checks and X's, right?
Yes.
Okay, the learning targets are on there, so you guys should be doing those. Okay, 4 goes into 8. Well, before I do that, what should I do with this decimal right now?
Move it, put it up directly up.
Straight up. It goes straight up to the top. Now 4 goes into 8 2 whole times. We're going to multiply around. Now we're going to subtract. 8 minus 8 is 0. That's obviously less than 4, right? Now I'm going to bring down 9. Now we start the process over, right? 4 goes into 9 2 times. Okay? Now I get this. Now am I allowed to just put R1 up here or something like that?
No.
No, we've got to keep this problem going. So what you have to do is you've got to figure out a way to change this dividend right here without actually changing the value of it or adding on to it. Asia, what can we do?
Add a 0.
We're going to add a 0. Is 8.9 any different than 8.90?
No.
Same exact thing. Okay, so I'm going to bring it down. Okay, well then how many times will 4 go into 10? We still know it is 2. Okay, now I'm going to multiply around and I'm going to subtract. That's 2. Okay, now, am I done?
No.
No, we got to add on as many zeros that are needed here. Okay, so now I'm going to bring that down. Then you can see, well, 4 goes into 20, 5 whole times. Then we multiply around, we subtract, we get 0. So that work right there, absolutely required. You must have it. If you don't have it, it's wrong. Okay, so that question, the correct answer was letter B, and that was learning target number 4. Okay, so that means that if you don't move the decimal, like if you leave it there, it's going to be that, right? 0.2225. If you'd move it over here one, you see how it's going to, you're probably going to get the right numbers, but the decimal is going to be in the right spot. You got to remember, whatever you do to the divisor is going to then be the same exact thing happening to the dividend. Okay? All right. Number 6. You can see the learning target there. Nick buys 3.5 pounds of American cheese. The cheese costs $2.80 per pound. Okay? Well, if I know that it costs $2.80 per pound, and I want to buy 3.5 pounds, what operation am I going to be doing on this? What operation am I doing? Multiply, divide, subtract, add? Multiplication, right?
Yeah.
Multiplication. Now, real quick, 3.5. Isn't that really close to, I mean, it's right between 3 and 4, right? So let's just say 4, because you would round up. What's $2.80 really close to? Whole number wise.
3.
So, don't you think it's going to be about $12 somewhere in there? Right? Do you guys agree with that? So, as you can see, now obviously I rounded this up, so that's why 12 is above this, but still, it's obviously not going to be 98 cents. It's obviously not going to be $98. It's obviously not going to be $1.25. That would be less than what it is per pound. How could you buy more pounds and pay less? That doesn't make any sense, right? So we kind of, by process of elimination, figured out that the answer was B. Now, if you didn't have the work, it's wrong, but the thinking about it process and the rounding process can just kind of help you. So we're going to do, we're going to need to multiply. Now, what math problem should I do here?
Multiplication.
But I should be doing 280, right?
Yeah.
Not $2.80, and then times 35. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times...
I did addition.
I did addition 3 times.
Okay, well, that's wrong. Okay, no, that's fine. Okay, you can do that. Okay, then 5 times 8 is 40. Carry my 4 there. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 4 would be 14. Right, everybody?
Yeah.
Get rid of your carries there. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 8 is 24. Carry your 2. 3 times 2 is 6. Plus 2 is 8, right? And you end up getting 9,800. Now, 9,800 is definitely the answer to 280 times 35. Does everybody agree? But that's not the answer to the problem, right? So now we've got to put those decimals back in. So we put it there, and we put it right there. I see that I had 1, 2, 3 numbers to the right of the decimal. So that means that I'm going to move my decimal 1, 2, 3 right to there. Now, is this an amount of money right here? How many decimal places does money go to? It goes to 2. So you got to cut it off there. Everything over here is gone. So it's $9.80. Everybody clear on that? All right. Number 7. As you can see, the learning target there. How many steps would I need to see here?
2.
2. Because this is not in fraction form. So step number 1 would look like this. By the way, the answer is D. So, and again, you write this down. If there's anything you're struggling with, please write it down, because otherwise you're not going to ever fix it. This is now a study guide for you. 7 over 1 divided by 1 over 5. That's step number 1. Step number 2 then would be doing the algorithm for division of fractions. So we're going to keep the dividend the same. Divide becomes multiply. And 5 over 1. And then we do top times top, bottom times bottom. We get 35 over 1, which we know equals 35. Everybody good with that?
Yep.
Do you need to have 2 steps there? Yes, you do. All right. Number 8. How many steps would I need to see here?
2.
Technically not. Here's why. Aren't those already in fraction form?
Yeah.
So sure, if you wanted to do 2 steps, you could, but you'd just be rewriting that same thing. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah.
So this would be 5/6 times 7 over 1. We end up getting 35 over 6. Okay, right?
Yeah.
35 over 6. And then if you wanted to turn that to a mixed number, you would do 35 divided by 6. 6 goes into 35 5 times. We end up getting a remainder of 5. So it must be 5 and 5/6.
I chose the only one that was same.
But do you have this work?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need both those. You really only need this work right here. That's all you need. Okay, at the bottom, go ahead and put what you got at an 8, please, down there.
Wait, Mr. Beard,
Okay.
Yep.
is it okay to put it
I forgot to put a check.
By the way, just to make sure everybody's clear, I put a little distractor on this answer. You guys see this? 35/5. Do you see that?
Yes.
And some people were putting that, but that's not that. They're different. So that's kind of a little trick thing there. I didn't.
I put 5 or more.
Okay, shh. Okay, here we go. After a birthday party, there are 3.5 pizzas left over. If the pizzas are divided into 1/4 size pieces, how many pieces of pizza are left over? So, the correct answer, I think, is this right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the answer is 14, but obviously, if you don't have the work, the answer is pointless at this point. Now, what is being divided here? What is our dividend? Let's try to figure that out. We're going to try to figure out what's actually being divided up or being cut up or being sliced up. What is it? Zach?
3 1/2.
3 1/2. So the problem that you're trying to do is you're trying to divide 3.5 by 1/4, right, everybody?
Yes.
How many steps would I need to see?
2.
2 steps. If you didn't have it, what's in blue, it is wrong. This is going to be 7/2 divided by 1/4, right? This is how I showed you how to do it from the beginning. 7/2, divide becomes multiply. The reciprocal of 1/4 would be 4/1. Can I check for cross simplifying? 2 and 4, do they have any common factors? 2, right? So I'm going to divide 2, divide 2. I'm going to end up getting 14/1, which we know equals 14. So I would need to see that. I would need to see that. Got me? Count it wrong if you didn't have it. And guys, please, please write this down. I promise you this summative, literally, I'm going to take basically that same question right there. I'm just going to change this to maybe 4 1/8. Or 2/5, something like that.
I showed it.
So just so you guys are aware right now, nothing's going to change. So if you can use this as a study guide and do it, you will be fine. Okay, we're going to go over here to number 10 now.
I showed mine like pizzas.
What?
Like I said 14/4 is equal to.
I don't know, I'll have to look at it. Okay. Christina rides her bike 13.25 miles to and from work. Okay? Each week. So per week she rides that much. If she's going to do it in 29 weeks, well, what type of problem is this? Is it going to be multiplication, addition, division, subtraction? What's it going to be? Artie? Multiplication. So we're going to do 1,325, right guys? Because we're removing the decimal times 29. Okay, so here we go. Multiplying. Because you know how far it is in 1 week. Then we just multiply to figure out, okay, well how far will that be in 29 weeks? Could I also add that 29 times to itself? Hello?
Yes.
Try it. Okay. 9 times 5 is going to be 45. Carry 4. 9 times 2 is going to be 18. Plus 4 is 22. 9 times 3 is 27. Plus 2 is 29. 9 times 1 is 9. Plus 2 would be 11. Right? Get rid of your carries. I like to change colors just so that, even though I know that's not really possible for you guys, but it kind of makes it easier for you guys to see right now. 2 times 5 then is going to be 10. Bring down 0. Carry 1. 2 times 2 is 4. Plus 1 would be 5. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 1 is 2. Now I'm ready to add. 5 plus 0 is 5. 2 plus 0 is 2. 9 plus 5 is 14. Carry 1. 8 and 3. Now, is 1,325 times 29 going to be 38,425?
No.
I'll ask the question again. Is 1,325 times 29 going to be 38,425?
No.
I'll ask the question again. Is 1,325 times 29 going to be 38,000 times 425?
No. Yes.
Because I'm just multiplying it without the decimals. That definitely is what it equals. Is that the answer to the problem? No. Okay, so now we've got to put that decimal back in. So we go ahead and stick it in up here. All right, so now we look and say, okay, I have one number to the right of the decimal. I have a second number to the right of the decimal. Do I have any here?
No.
Nope. So that decimal is going to need to move just 2 places because of the 2 numbers to the right of the decimal. Therefore, my answer is going to be letter C. Okay? Letter C. But you must have the work. If you don't have the work, guys, it is wrong. All right. Number 11. Who remembers me actually doing this problem for you guys on the board? It was last Thursday, I believe, or something like that. Do you guys remember?
No.
I actually did this problem, and I told you guys that everybody would miss it. And guess what? Pretty much everybody missed it.
I know.
Okay, what's the first thing that jumps out at you when you look at this problem right here? What? The divisor is not a whole number. So what did everybody do? They said, oh, so that's 64 divided by 16.
What?
16 goes into 64 4 times. 0. The answer is D. Is that correct?
No.
No, that is not correct. Why is that not correct? Why is that incorrect here? Is that...
Because you have to do the same from the divisor to the dividend.
Absolutely. You can't just multiply. Remember, here's what you're doing. Here's what you're doing, guys. You're doing this. You're making an equivalent ratio or an equivalent fraction. You're multiplying this by 100, and then you're leaving that 64. Are you doing the same to the bottom and top?
No.
Can they be equivalent then? No, it's not even the same problem anymore. So when you actually do this, so let me pull that back up. You actually got to take this and you got to multiply this by 100, which means moving the decimal 2 places to the right. So it's 64, move it 2 places, add 2 zeros. So the problem here that you're doing, the correct answer is A, by the way. Okay, not D. A lot of people put D, it's A. You are actually going to be doing, please write this if you didn't have it, because you had to move this one 2 places to the right, you got to do that to 64 also. So that's going to be 6,400 divided by 16. 16 goes into 64 4 times. Multiply around. Subtract, get 0. Bring down a 0. Can 16 go into 0? Nope. Multiply around. Subtract. Bring down a 0. 16 goes into 0. 0 times. Do I have anything else to bring down? Without adding a decimal, that is? Hello?
No.
No, I do not. So the correct answer is A there. You must do whatever you did to your divisor. You must do that same thing to the dividend. All right. Number 12, reciprocals. I saw a lot of issues with this, and I'm not sure why. I had some people write -2/5. Those are opposites, right?
Yeah.
I had some crazy answers. Remember, every time you do the algorithm for division, aren't you doing a reciprocal of 2/5?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that would be 5/2. 5/2. Okay? Number 13, find the reciprocal of the following number. Okay. Well, first of all, I got to put that in fraction form, right?
Oh.
Which would be 4/1. So what's the reciprocal of 4? 1/4. Okay? All right. A large bottle holds 4 liters of shampoo. A family uses 3/5 of a liter each day. How many days will the shampoo last? So we're gonna have a division problem here, right, guys? So
Yeah.
let me ask you, what is being divided? Is it the 4 liters or is it the 3/5 liter each day? Yeah,
The
3/4.
Or no, there's one.
I don't see 1/4 in here.
Four.
Yes, 4. 4 is being divided, right, everybody? I mean, because you're taking that shampoo bottle, how much it holds, and you're dividing it because that's how much they use each day. Remember, whole divided by part is going to give us another part, right? So how many steps would I require here?
2.
So that's going to be 4/1 divided by 3/5. So I'm going to make that 4/1 times 5/3, and I'm going to get 20/3, which equals 6 2/3. Now, listen, I'm going to accept a couple different answers. First of all, if you just left it as 20/3, that's wrong. By the way, this is step 1 and 2. Now, if you actually went ahead and said that means that they'll be able to use it for 6 days, I will accept that. Because technically, oops, wrong one. Technically, if I asked you how many days it's going to last, you know, there are partial days, but it's kind of weird to think about. So I will accept either one of those. So I'm going to put or there because if you left it as 6 2/3, or if you made it 6, I accept that. Now, here, this is, you got to have that work that's highlighted. Everybody clear on that?
Yeah, I don't 6 2/5 somehow.
Yeah, that's wrong. Okay, a baker uses 6 total teaspoons of salt to make dinner rolls each day. She uses 3/8 teaspoons of salt for each roll that she makes. How many dinner rolls does she make? So what's being divided here, Nathan? 6 is being divided. So that's going to be 6, and we're dividing it into groups of 3/8 size. How many steps here, guys?
2.
2 steps. Putting them in fraction form. 6 over 1 divided by 3 over 8. Step 2, 6 over 1 times 8 over 3. Can I check for cross simplifying?
Yeah.
Sure. 3 and 6 both have a factor of 3, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to do 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. I'm going to get 16 over 1, which we know means 16. Okay? Clear?
Yes.
No, it was
Wait, which one is that? Wait.
Okay.
Wait.
So you must have this work. You must have that. You must have the 2 steps there. If you didn't have the 2 steps, it's wrong.
I got a very
I got-
same answer.
Wait, Alex.
I just Mr. Gerson. I just
48
Okay.
equals to 6.
This page is out of, what is it?
7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This page is out of 7. All right? Okay.
Wait, I don't know if this one's correct.
Okay, this one here was the most missed question on the test, by the way, along with that one that was 64 divided by 0.16. First of all, I'm going to tell you the correct answer. And a lot of you are probably going to miss it because I want to make sure you guys know why we did it. The answer is 3/40.
Yes.
Okay?
What?
Yep, I know. A lot of people are going to miss it. That's okay. So let's talk about it. This is a challenging question, and I wanted to put it on here because I want you guys to make sure you're reading it carefully. Nick Tiberio had a pajama party with 4 football teammates. The 5 of them ordered 1 extra large pizza. They ate 5/8 of that pizza before the pajama dance-off. Okay, now, the next morning, they split the leftover pizza equally. Okay, how much pizza would each one of them get? So what's being divided here?
I got 0.
Yes? Lexi?
the pizza, the 5/8 of the pizza.
Okay, that's what everybody thinks. Everybody thinks this is the answer, and this is wrong. Let me explain why. This is why this is wrong, guys. Do they have 5/8 of pizza left over the next morning? No. That's how much they ate. They ate 5/8. So if they ate 5/8 of that pizza, the next morning, how much pizza do they have remaining? Don't they have 3/8? Right?
Yeah.
And aren't they dividing that by the 5 teammates? Do you guys understand that? Write this down if you don't have it, so you have it now. Okay? It's not what they ate divided by 5, it's how much is remaining divided by 5 teammates. So, how many steps would I require?
2.
Okay, putting them in fraction form. 3/8 divided by 5 over 1. 3/8. Division becomes multiply. The reciprocal of 5 over 1 is 1/5. And I get 3/40. Does everybody understand that?
I did 5.
That's a challenging question, though. I mean, it is. Okay. You need to have what I have highlighted here. You need to have that and that, obviously. Okay. Did everybody get that written down?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you could be watching this video when you go home if you don't quite understand it. But does everybody understand where I'm coming from there?
Yeah.
This line right here really gives it away. It says the next morning they split the leftover pizza. Remember how I said those words that mean divide, like split, slice, group, cut, all those words? You with me? Okay, I said all those words. Well, slice is another, or split's another one. And if you're splitting the leftover pizza, then what's being divided? What's being left, or what's left over? They ate 5/8, so that means 6, 7, and 8. The 3 pieces left, if there was only 8 pieces, those 3 pieces are being cut into 5 groups. Yes. All right. Here, what's the first thing we always look for when we're about to do long division, guys? We got to see if the what? We've got to see if that divisor is actually a whole number, is it?
No.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I know that the first number, the dividend, always goes inside. So 0.5 there, divided by 75. What do I do with my decimal?
Put it straight up.
Straight up. Now, do you see how I kept a little bit of space between these numbers, guys? I think that's something that maybe some of you might want to do, because some of you get kind of all over the place. And long division has to be really neat, because otherwise you start losing numbers like crazy. So, can 75 go into 1? Hello?
Yeah.
No.
No. Can 75 go to 16?
Nope.
No. What about the 168?
Yes.
Now this one might have been kind of easy for you because I think most of you know that 75 times 2 is 150, right? If you didn't, you do now. And that kind of, and I knew 150 was really close to 168, so I kind of had an idea that it was going to go in 2 times. Then you multiply, so 150. Now we're going to subtract and get 18. Now I'm going to bring down this 7. Now once again, I know that 75 times 2 is 150. That's still really close to 187. So I think that it'll only go in 2 times, and we'll be able to check. Remember how we check, guys? We make sure that this number right here is smaller than the divisor. Remember that? And if it's larger, you've done something wrong. So now I'm ready to bring down my 5. Okay? Now here, maybe you did a little mental math. Well, if 75 times 2 is 150, and I know that 150 times 2 would be 300, right? Right?
Yeah.
And then I know that 375 is 75 more than 300. So maybe you started thinking, well, maybe it's 4 or 5 times. So we got to come over and do 75 times 5. That's going to be 5, 35, 37, 375. So this is actually going to stop right there because it's going to be 22 and 5/10, and it's going to terminate right there, subtracting at 0. So the answer is 22 and a half, but you must have that work. Did everybody get that down?
Yep.
Okay. And if you didn't, you know, and guys, if you ever want to practice long division, just go on to the materials section. It's there. Remember, I made it all the pages, and there's dividing decimals, dividing whole numbers. There's games. Plus, you can just Google dividing decimals, long division of decimals, and you'll get stuff come up. Now, when we're adding decimals, what's the big key thing we've got to be sure of?
To line them up.
We have to line them up. So that means in my next problem, my decimal is going to be lined directly up with it. So I just put whatever's to the left and the right of it. So I'm going to put the 8 in there. What can I put right here?
0.
Because isn't 8/10 the same as 80/100, guys?
Yes.
Now I'm ready to add. That's going to be 5. I guess I should bring my decimal straight down, right? 2 plus 8 is going to be 10. Carry my 1, 4, and 5/100. Obviously, you must have that work. If you didn't have it, it's wrong. Everybody get that? Good? Okay, next one up here. 24 and 54/100 minus, put my decimal in there. I put the number to the left and to the right of it, right? Do I put zeros here? Absolutely. Can I take 0 from 4? Sure. It's still 4. Shh. Bring my decimal straight down. Can I take 9 from 5, guys? No. So I'm going to have to borrow. So I'm going to come over here and borrow. That's going to make this 15. Now can I take 9 from 15? Sure, 6. Can I take 5 from 3, guys? No, so I'm going to have to borrow here and make that 13. 13 minus 5 is going to be 8. And 1 minus 0 is?
1.
Is 1. It was 1 minus 0 then is 1 there. Okay, so 18 and 64/100. Everybody go with that? All right. Okay, here we go. Multiplying. We've done plenty of these, I think, but obviously take the decimal out. So it's going to be 2,454 times 59. Okay. 9 times 4 is going to be 36. Carry your 3. 9 times 5 is 45, plus 3 is 48. Everything seem good so far? 9 times 4 is 36, plus 4 would be 40. 9 times 2 is 18, plus 4 would be 22. Everybody good with that? Always important to get rid of your carries because otherwise it'll kind of mess with you. Now again, I like to change colors when I'm doing this, just because so you guys can kind of visualize it. Now I'm doing 5 times 4, that's going to be 20. Carry 2. 5 times 5 is 25, plus 2 would be 27. Carry 2. 5 times 4 would be 20, plus 2 would be 22. Carry 2, 10, 12. We end up getting 1,000 Okay? Alright, so we get 144,786, right? That's the answer to that particular problem, but now we've got to stick those decimals back in. So we had 1, 2, 3 numbers to the right of the decimal. So this is 1, 2, 3. So it's 144 and 786 thousandths. Everybody good with that? Questions? Okay, here, number 22 and 23. If the dividend and the divisor are... Wait, I skipped one. If the dividend is larger than the divisor. Now, my thing is if you have a hard time reading and you have a hard time being able to understand what that's saying, because I have a hard time with that, to be honest with you, I would. What I like to do is I'd like to say, okay, if the dividend is larger than the divisor, I like to say, I'm just going to do that. Is my dividend larger than my divisor?
Yeah.
So I just make up a problem in my head, and then it says, okay, then the quotient will be less than 1. Okay, well, what would this quotient be? Would it be 2? So is that going to be less than 2? Or less than 1, I'm sorry? Hello? Okay, I can do this for a different one. So I do 12. Let's say I'm dividing it by 3. Is that going to be less than 1, guys?
No.
So this is absolutely false. False. It would actually be greater than 1. If the dividend is ever larger, then the quotient is greater than 1. Now, if the dividend and the divisor are equivalent, so we're doing 4 divided by 4, what's that always going to result in?
1.
1. Anything divided by itself is going to be 1, so that is absolutely true. Okay? Next question here. Now, multiplying fractions. Now, you guys, some of you might not have had an opportunity to get to this, and that's okay. But I saw people trying to do some crazy stuff here where they're like all of a sudden like doing something like this or crazy stuff. Guys, do you have to do any crazy stuff when you're multiplying fractions?
No.
This is the second step of dividing fractions, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything. Now, what will kind of make it easier on you, though? Can you cross simplify here? What factor does 8 and 12 have?
2.
They also have a
4.
4. So if I divide here by 4, that's going to become 2. I divide here by 4, that's going to be 3. What about 3 and 15? Anything?
Yeah, 3.
3, so that's going to become 1. That becomes 5. And we end up getting 3/10. So you must have that answer. No real work required. I mean, if you cross simplified, great. You could have simplified at the end to get that as well. Okay?
I crossed simplified.
So it would be 6/20.
It is 3/10. You didn't simplify it all the way. It's wrong. Okay. A coffee shop worker is putting 18 and 125 thousandths pounds of coffee into 2,500 pound bags. How many small bags of coffee can the worker make? So what's being divided here? What's the dividend here, guys? Yep. So I'm doing this. 18.125 divided by 0.25. What's the first thing that jumps out at you as an issue? What's the very, very first thing that jumps out, Lincoln? Not dividend. The divisor is a decimal, so we have to take that, move it 2 places, which means we are multiplying it by 100, correct? So do I have to do that to the dividend also? Hello?
Yeah.
1, 2. So this problem is actually going to be 1,821.5 divided by 25. Everybody clear on that?
Yeah.
25 goes into 1, 0, 18, 0. 25 into 182? Maybe you have to guess and check a little. What?
Wouldn't it be 12, not 20?
Oh, shoot. Whoops, sorry. My mistake. Okay, so this is 18. There we go. Okay, so 25 going to 181. You know, 25 is a pretty easy one because you guys know you can count kind of by 25. So this one is going to be 7 times. And you're going to multiply around. You're going to get 175, right?
Yeah.
Then you're going to subtract 181 minus 175 and get 6. Now you're going to bring down your 2. 25 goes into 62 twice, right? Pretty easy. 50. Then we subtract to get 12. I forgot to bring my decimal straight up in the beginning. I should have done that, right? Now I break down my 5. Now 25 goes into that 5 times. I'm going to get 125, and there's my 0. So your answer is 72 and 5 tenths.
Mr. Gershon, your decimal looks like a heart.
Oh. Okay. Count up how many questions are on this page, please.
I think it's 9.
So what you guys are getting?
It's 8.
1, 2,
9. 8, 9.
It's 8.
1, 2, 3,
1,
4,
2,
5,
6,
6, 7, 8, 9.
9.
Is that a 9 on that one? Okay.
I'm just going to say about 9 out of 9.
All right. So right here. So this was actually number 25 right here. That's how we did it, and we didn't even call this one. Here's your little equation thing here. Okay, and you just had to identify which was the dividend, which was the divisor, and which is the quotient. Pretty easy, actually. The quotient, remember, is the answer to a division problem, so that would be 8/9. Okay. The dividend would be the number that's being divided, the whole, right? Okay, so that must be 2/3. And finally, the divisor, that's the one that's doing the dividing. That's this guy right here. That's going to be 3/4. So if you didn't have those right, please fill them in. But that's pretty standard as far as everything we've covered. I would think you guys know what dividend, divisor, and quotient is by now. Okay? Number 28. Now I know you guys are going to have 100 different questions if yours is right, but just listen closely. An algorithm. The answer I won't accept, guys, is I will not accept division is just multiplication by the divisor's reciprocal. That is wrong. Okay, so if you had that, mark it wrong. Okay? The reason it's wrong is because I didn't ask you for the specific dividing fractions algorithm. Okay? I'm talking about the general term algorithm, and that is you may want to write this, so you have for the summative. It is a step-by-step process to find an answer. I'll just accept that. It's a step-by-step process to find an answer, to solve an answer, anything like that. A systematic approach where you do, okay, you do this, then you do this, then you do that, and then you do this, and then you do this, and then you got your answer. That's the definition I'm looking for. Okay, do you have that? You guys, everybody needs to know this. I can personally guarantee you that this question is going to be on the test. I just told you it was on the test. So for anyone to miss this tomorrow, or Friday, I'm sorry, it's kind of silly, right? Because I'm telling you what the answer is. All you got to do is memorize it. And memorizing is the easiest part about school. It's the learning and making sure you understand the understanding part that it's challenging. Sitting and memorizing a definition, pretty easy. Okay, now down here. Now, most of you probably just said division is just multiplication by the divisor's reciprocal. And that's what you did, but you also had to use the word dividend. So what you had to say is, it is the, write this please, the dividend is multiplied by the divisor's reciprocal. That's it. Okay? That is it. That is what I'm going to take because as you can see, we got the 3 words we want. We have dividend, we have divisor, we have reciprocal. That's what the algorithm for division of fractions is. It is just the dividend being multiplied by the divisor's reciprocal. It doesn't even matter if you count it right or wrong right now. This is the answer that I want. Remember? I'm not actually taking a grade on this. So we don't even have to read it because this is what I want. I used all 3. You had to have something about that. Okay, next page, or do we have one below that? Okay. Okay. All right, this one. John said that when multiplying 4/10 by 1.23, you have 3 digits after the decimal point in your answer. You will have 3 digits after the decimal point in your answer. Do you agree or disagree with John? Now, I don't know about you guys, but I think it's just easiest to go ahead and do the problem, right? So what I did is I said, okay, that's going to be 123 times 4. So then 2, carry 1, 8, 9. 4 times 1 is 4. Everybody can see where I got that? Now we'll put the decimal back in. So then I say, well, I have 1, 2, 3 numbers to the right, so 1, 2, 3 numbers. Okay? So, do we agree with John?
Yes.
Yes, we agree with John, because look, anytime you have, when you count up these decimal places, you know that there's going to be 3 decimal places. That's the whole point, right? That's how we know, because and your reasoning has to be something about the fact that you are saying, well, at the end, I know that there are going to be 1, 2, 3 numbers to the right of the decimal, so that means whatever my number is, I'm going to move it 3 places to the left. Everybody understand that? Okay, let's go on to the next page. All right, Mr. Gellenbeck did this math problem, okay, and he made a mistake. So you just have to go through and find his mistake. So, what is his mistake? What is it right away? Abhi, go.
When he multiplied 15 times 2, 15 times 2 does not equal 3.
The issue is he's got it in the wrong spot. Everything needs to be shifted this way, right? You guys see that? The numbers are all good, but this is why we've got to have this placeholder here. Okay? So 15 goes into 32 2 times. Right? You guys see the mistake? You wouldn't have 21, and then the 1 and the 5 are going to go on this side. Is how it's going to go. So everything, if you were explaining his mistake, everything should be shifted to the right, 1 place value. That's where the issue came. Okay? It wasn't in the fact that he did any of the math wrong or anything like that. It was simply that his decimal went straight up, like it did here, which is all good. It went straight up, but he's saying that you can take 3 and divide it by 15 and get 2. That's what he's saying. Do you guys see that? And this 2 should be right here, this 1 would be right here, and this 5 would be right here. Okay? So that's your reasoning there. Everybody got that?